Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to Harmon Homestead. It's a cool afternoon. I'm sitting out here on the porch. Been dealing with my chicken coop, so I'll show you that in a second. We've been cleaning everything out, putting fresh shavings in, scraping out debris, the whole 9 yards, and that takes a while. I've done a series so far on YouTube on free-ranging chickens. This is part 2. I'm looking at one right now. I'm sitting up on my deck. I call her a little bit. She hangs out with me. As you all know, I'm newer into free-ranging chickens, and I'm already promoting it 100%. The only problem is predators that we encounter. We're on several acres here, and all of our coops have plenty of room. They haven't even made it to one whole side of the yard or our pasture yet. They're not gonna make it there, so they're fine just where they are. They seem to be enjoying it. So the last video I did free ranging and using your chickens to compost. So I went over how that can be used. The chickens scratching dried leaves, clawing into your raised bed while there's nothing growing in it, and that will turn the soil, break down the leaves, and add organic matter back into your soil. Some of the chickens go right to that spot. Others have had, they're a little hesitant since the leaves have been mounded up so high. So what I did was I put a few apple cores down in it. I'm not worried about it sprout anything like that. It's going to get tilled in the spring. It's just more compost back into that soil, and that drew the rest of the chickens there. So they've really scratched through. The leaves were probably 2 foot high in one spot. Now they're about an inch over the whole raised bed, so where they're scattered. That's great. Like I said, most of them have already been broken down and worked back into the soil. So you can compost using chicken manure. If you put it on your raised bed, you would want to do it, I won't say no later than now, if you're going to till in the spring. That they say it's very high in nitrogen, ammonia. That's why it smells so bad, but it needs to lay down and get, hey little bit, you're on the camera. Hey little bit. It needs to lay on the soil and decompose. They say a year, so. But the chickens walk through the garden, they're going to fertilize it with fresh poop no matter what. Now next spring we'll have a fence up around the raised bed so they won't just be able to walk into it. And we'll probably halt that here in the next month. So, but you can compost. Second benefit to free ranging, I wish I could get one of these chickens on the camera. They're just going to walk behind me. There's one of my silver lace Wyandottes. The second benefit I'm going to talk about is the health aspect. These chickens are healthier. And you may think, well, what does that matter? You know, you can get chicks a dime a dozen, whatever. Well, your egg production is better. You know that they're getting bugs, they're getting grass. Now, they're not going to live on this alone. You would want to supplement it with grain if you're cooping them up every night. But they have more of a variety in their diet. They get exercise, walking, foraging, scratching, moving their legs. They're not staying in that coop, cooped up all day. There's a reason that's called cooped up. You're just balled up. You can't get out, exercise. You've got all this energy. That leads to fighting with your chickens. You don't want them to, you know, get aggressive at all. It leads to tail feather pecking. And that's one of the reasons that I started this, is because my newer hatches, when I introduced them into the bigger coop, well, the ones that had been there did not like it at all. And they wanted to peck their tail feathers and be aggressive. So, one reason I let them out. Now they're so interested in what's going on, they're not focused on pecking one tail feather. They won't like gang up on one chicken as bad if you let them out. They have more room to explore. They've got more things to do. They're not worried about one little chicken. And I've noticed that that's not only a one-time thing. I've noticed that with several other coops. Every time you put chickens in a coop, there's literally a pecking order. I've done a video on that. Even in life, there's a pecking order with humans. But if if there's something to distract you or some kind of diversional activity, then the chickens won't be so aggressive. So the chicken is healthier. It has a better diet with the exercise, and then the feather pecking on the tail feathers of the chickens. Now, the fourth reason, it kind of dawned on me today, as far as exercise. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? These are my pets, y'all. These are my pets. The fourth reason that's so important is coop space. Now, that seems like a no-brainer, but think about it. When you free range, especially if you're letting the same coop out every day, they only need a place to nest at night and have protection from predators that are nocturnal. So you can have more chickens in a smaller space if you free range. Think about it. My mom told me several months ago, well, you just need a barn. Well, what's a barn going to do? I mean, what is a barn going to do for these chickens? That's what I thought. Like, what? Well, before prefabricated coops come along and all of these modular coops, people had a barn with nesting boxes, and that's where their chickens went up to roost, and they had roost poles, and they had other animals in there as well, but that was their shelter for the night. Otherwise, during the day, they just were loose. They free range. And it kind of hit me. You can have more animals if you free range. Now, you don't want to do anything unsafe as far as getting a, too big of an amount, but anytime you're introducing new chickens to a coop, wait, I would say 3 weeks. 3 weeks is what we tried on our last coop with new chickens getting into the coop. That way they know where they're supposed to stay and nest. But otherwise, let them go. You can squeak by with more chickens in one area if you're only confining them at night. It's sleeping quarters, that's it. They want desperately to get loose during the day. They want that exercise, blah, blah, blah. So that's a great thing to think about. If you free range, you can have more animals as long as it's within, safe limits of your coop. You don't want them too cramped. But you can let them out during the day so they're free to roam. This is only a place to, so to speak, lay their head at night and protection. So all of that is reasons why the benefit of the chicken, it's better to free range. It's better on you. You can have more animals. It's better on them. They're healthier. They're not as mean. They're not as aggressive. Fifth reason, as far as anything physical with the chicken, if you have meat birds, that might be the way to go. They say, we do not have meat birds. We only use our chickens for eggs, to eat fresh eggs. But they say that the meat would be better. If you think about a human that lives off grain, and that's it every day, and starch, they're not going to be as healthy as someone that eats a salad, whole wheat bread, lean meat. That's protein. That's what these chickens are getting outside. They're getting a better variety of diet. So I would say, it would be my speculation, that those chickens, if you're doing meat birds, would be healthier to have. I don't know if the meat would taste any different. It would probably be more nutrient dense, if I had to assume, just like a human. What we intake affects how we feel. Same thing with the chickens. And how you feel produces energy. Same thing with the chickens, increased egg production. And that's going to be my next video, is on how the eggs are different. We're going to do an experiment. I want to take one egg from my silkies that never get out of the coop. I do not free range those. I feel like they're helpless. I know they're not, but they're just my babies. I don't want to let them out of the coop. But I want to crack one of those eggs and then one of my free range eggs and see which yolk is oranger in color. I have a feeling I already know what it's going to be, but I'll do it live with you guys and see what we have. So let me show you the coops and show you what I've done today. All right, so I'm going to show you one of our prefabricated coops, what I did today. I cleaned out the metal tray and I just put down fresh shavings in each box for the chickens. And you need to do that every so often. I'm not going to debate on how often to do it. I've got my own preference. One thing, if you do have prefabricated coops, if it gets winter time, be sure and close these little sliding doors. Each one's got some kind of little door to it. This one's got a glass door on the side as well. Now, during the day, I'll open it up and I'll let them get a little fresh air in there, but especially if it's the summertime. But right now, wintertime, they need all the warmth they can get. So yeah, y'all been let loose, but you're coming back to your pen. Yeah. That's something else on free ranging. Her back right there where it's bare, that was from a rooster, and he was too aggressive with the hens, and there was too few hens at the time. That's before we added all of these hens into this one coop. You can see the newer ones added. Let's see if I can zoom in on her, but her back's fine. You can see an older one back there. So it all just, again, another benefit of free ranging, to physically enhance the health of your chicken. If you have chickens with more space to run around, they're not going to get harmed near as bad. This is our biggest coop. It's a 6 nest box coop, and we just put some more shavings in there. And it's got a mesh bottom where poop will fall through, and there's a lot on the ground because I scraped through the mesh wire, that way it could fall to the ground. I've got this other side. Most of your prefabricated coops are going to have this slide latch, just like that. You just pull it down. I put some little fake eggs in here. I'm wanting mine to start laying in this pen badly. Yeah, what you got? What you got? Yeah. And then I've got my silky pen and my coaching pen down there. So, but anyways, that's what we've been doing today. Is we've literally been in the chicken pens and cleaning them out. Tell them, hey, Cisco. That's gonna be part of your culprit right there for your nest getting messed up. These roosters, they love getting in the nest boxes. They won't stay out of it, but they want to protect those hens and those eggs.